Point to J, whatever.
Okay, everyone shut up. Okay, this is game 2 of the preseason finals. Reservoir Dogs on the left side versus Top 3 Control on the right side. And on my right side is my favorite co-caster, not person, Sunshine Duck, aka Robin. Robin She, what's up?
Glad to be here.
Nice. Turrets. I was saying last time on this map, I was saying turrets are very important on this map. Do you agree with that?
I certainly agree with that, especially that top one. When you're trying to run the bomb top lane as a runner, it's actually impossible to avoid the damage from it.
Especially a Randa, like you're just a sitting duck to that turret.
Absolutely. And then the thing is, if you try and avoid that turret, you try and avoid the turret damage, you end up sitting in that top choke forever.
Yeah.
And then because of that, you end up getting spammed out. Usually, it's very difficult. See, Wolf there prioritizing. I feel like maybe he could have gone deeper and gotten the second turret, but
it's
making
possible.
the safe play.
Yeah. Either way, it's good. An inexperienced player is just gonna like try to hit the base for like no reason.
And a little tidbit for those that may have been watching the previous match where RD absolutely demolished KLF on this exact map. I believe they had the map choice, so they chose this map, and a lot of teams fall into the trap of believing that they are good at a map because they just smashed a team on the map. And I believe RD may have done that here, where they felt like, oh, we just dominated KLF on this map, so that must mean we are good at this map. So therefore, we're gonna have great success. And even if I feel like they have a better chance of winning this map than they do on middle ground. And it's the same that is true in all team maps, where the better team does not necessarily always win.
Yeah.
Whereas on neutral maps, because of the prolonged nature of the game, the better team usually does come out, and they have like an 80% chance of winning, I would say. But it's closer to like 60-40, I would believe. Even if you consider top 3 control better, which in this case, I do not consider them better anymore because I just noticed that Ark is playing, and he is running the bomb instead of Woofy.
Oh, we predicted that Ark was not going to play himself, actually.
That was my thinking going in, and I feel like it might just be because it's preseason and he's just trying to test some things out.
He does get it.
A lot of captains, if they run the same lineup over and over, they'll feel like, oh, I'm not doing anything, I'm not really captaining, so they want to have a little more control over their team. I've fallen victim to that sometimes, where I decide, I don't want to just play the same lineup over and over.
Do you feel like you can predict this game yet? Because looks like it can go either way. It's like shit is just happening.
I think stuff like where Wolf just tried, where he tried the double warp drop straight down cheese on heights. If he connects, one of those, I feel like it swings the match heavily into RD's favor, because I feel like they have the better team over time. But again, all it takes is 2 or 3 kills in one direction on these types of maps, and
yeah,
you got yourself a game.
Wolf tries,
Yeah, that's kind of tough to say. I mean, even like the top teams do stuff like that, where it feels like you're doing the right play. You really have no chance of scoring there because there's too many teams or enemy planes in the way to defuse that. But
yeah,
it makes you feel good that you almost had a handoff.
In TVD, it's often fine just to keep up the pressure, though. Like you do something like that,
absolutely.
Your teammates, they have space to just pick up items and take over middle. And
that's true, but the important thing on when you do like space creating runs like that is to actually drop the bomb and kill.
Yeah. That's that's
so stuff like that.
Part.
There they had a very, very low chance of hitting no matter what. So they definitely needed to drop there, because they didn't drop there. They're looking at a possible counter hit. Although I have no idea what he was trying to do there.
Yeah, we're in like a place where both teams are like off their rhythm. Every time they have an offense going, the other team is just spawning. So they have to realize that they have to stop, and wait. Yeah.
And as a bomb runner, that's the kind of tempo that you want, where you have the initiative always. Where if you're trading bombs, if you feel like you're the superior bomb runner, you're gonna have a better chance because you're better. So.
He's taking. Oh god, he gets flacked there. He does stay in his team though, and Walt's coming in with the shield. You kind of have to. Nope,
yeah, Radium
was not ready.
Yeah, Lego was not ready. Radium went in too early. He was just.
Yeah.
Very mediocre synergy overall. Funny Hell was over there EMPing a turret.
That's good though.
That's good.
We always like the turrets. You see, they're down 1 turret. I'm gonna show my viewers. Oh, they're down 2 turrets actually. Both turrets are down on the t3c side. Let's see. Ark is very. Oh god. See, Ark is not playing the lanes, so to speak. He's just running into the spam. He's not expecting it.
On plays like that, where RD they may not be as experienced in flanking, that's kind of a dangerous play to allow Radium and Walt to make, because as you saw in the previous game when Wolf threw a lob down and Walt just pushed people out of the way, it's very easy to like fall in the trap of, oh, it's 2v4, so we got the advantage, so we can sit back. You definitely want to send the person out to flank either the bomb runner or the whale. You let them get too comfortable, they're gonna make a play after.
Very true. It's like a communication thing. You just gotta send one person out. You don't want to like over commit like a bunch of flankers, then he just goes the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not necessarily a communication thing, because it's kind of hard also in the heat of a game to be like, hey, someone, you go flank. You just kind of have to, when you set the lineup, you have to pick, you know, a flanker that always flanks.
Yeah.
Which in the case of top 3 control is their entire team.
They're gonna have to bomb something here if they want to live, I think. Wait, what happened to the bomb? I didn't see. Never mind. I guess everyone died.
Yeah, I was watching Wolf run around on the bottom. But they have 2 bombs, and they look like they may have some initiative going. They killed Funny Hell. Funny Hell suicided himself like an idiot, but RG too slow to make a move, so Funny Hell will spawn back in time to make a defensive play.
Radium has a shield, unfortunately, so that's not going to do much. He's going to hit anyway? Yes.
Alright, Funny Hell with some questionable positioning on that play. Kind of flew around, shot a few missiles, shot a few M's, didn't actually hit anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was sloppy defense overall.
But those are the kind of rookie mistakes that you have to allow from a player as inexperienced as Funny Hell.
And also, oh god, everyone's getting slammed. And as we said, nobody's playing at their prime A game in TBD.
Right.
Not anymore.
Except last game, I thought Wolf played about as well as I've seen anyone play TBD in a while.
That's true. That's true.
And top 3 control looking like if they're serious about winning this game, I think they need to make that substitution. I think they need to get Wolfie in there instead of Art. Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to be too mean, but Ark is pretty shitty.
That's a fair assessment of his skill level.
He's not an impressive player, and Wolfie's an impressive player usually.
Yes, I feel like there are players like such as Ark and Clam where you might not consider them good players, but if they're the worst player in your TBD team and you start them in the finals, you can still win if the rest of your team plays well enough. But there are some players that are just so game-losingly bad where if you have them in, they're gonna get abused so hard. And I think Ark is fine if you play him as like
a killer or something.
If he plays him as like a loopier, yeah. If you have him running, I think that's pretty game-losing.
Yeah, we were talking about that before. Like a runner, it's so important to have a good runner. You can't do shit with a bad runner.
Exactly.
Even if you have 4 star players around you, the bomb is just not going to get there in time. And we're seeing a bit of that here. Let's see, is Ark still running? Yeah.
And you see how like Tomato is not a good runner by any measure of the word good.
Oh,
but he's an adequate
Christ.
Runner. Exactly, and like all he had to do was fly basically in a straight line there. He got boosted up by Walt, I believe.
Yeah,
it has to the house.
Yeah, that was bad on many fronts. The boost and the 3 Randus just sitting there like, what am I doing now? Looks like Toma has gotten the confidence now.
Yep.
Never mind.
And that, that's a classic Tomato drop. We call that the Flight 666, but because he doesn't have Flight 666 paint, it does not work at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might have even been a hit. Wolf has Ultra Cap, so
absolutely.
It could have been a dangerous swoop.
No, if Tomato had let that go, it would have been at least 5, I believe. But
yeah.
They're in a position where they can afford to take some liberal risks with the bomb.
Oh, there.
And that's the type of thing where Radium thinks he's a lot better than he is, and it's not about a skill. He thinks his plane has a lot more energy than it does.
Yeah.
Where if his plane had infinite energy, he could have hit there, but because his plane actually has to recharge energy, he doesn't have an infinite amount of warps.
He's limited by the rules of the game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Clap is ready for shit like that. Clap maybe not the best player in the world, but he's definitely experienced. He knows that kind of shit. Wolf. Right. Oh god. That was a very good lob, but that was also a very sloppy defense.
I was about to say when he was making that move that I feel like the best optimal move would have been there to go under the base and go around and try and hit around the side.
Yeah,
but instead he just flew straight into the base and hit.
I guess that's what top 3 control is thinking too. Like he's not gonna do that. There's no way.
Yeah. That's a fair. I mean, if you're not expecting a player to make like what seems like a suboptimal play, sometimes they just hit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that ties it up, right? Wait, I don't remember who won last game. This is 1-1 now, right?
Yes, this is 1-1. If top 3 control wins this game, they go into another set, I believe.
Yes, exactly. Another best of 3. But if Reservoir Dog wins the next game, then it's over and they win the preseason. And Top 3 Control gets silver. I don't know what the preseason actually matters. I don't think anyone's going to get eliminated, but there you go. It's fun, good times.
I'm here so I don't get fined.
I would be curious to hear from maybe perhaps Lego or Ark after the game to see whose decision it was to sit Wolfie in that game, who was clearly the best player in the entire series in the previous game.
Yeah.
And, you know, out of all the players to sit, like, you know, perhaps he said, hey, sit me. But as a captain, unless he has, like, a good reason, like, you know, he has to use the restroom. Or
yeah, that's the thing sometimes.
When
a player has a really good game, they feel the pressure, you know, and they might want to sit.
Right.
Because either way, if they lose, if they win, it's not their fault anymore. But as a captain, you can't let that shit happen, you know.
If you have a clear star player, you pretty much have. I mean, it's preseason, so you can't really say much.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's hard to say.
If you're trying to win, you put him in every time.
Yeah, exactly. If your main goal is to win the game, you have to play your star player.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't want to injure him or something. Kind of
right.
Those RSI, very pesky. I mean, we know that stuff, or at least I do.
And I also know, having played with Wolf, that Wolf constantly asks for himself to be benched.
Yeah, he's one of those humble players.
Right.
It's like he doesn't want to take too much space. But you gotta say, Wolf, shut your boy mouth and get in.
I would bet almost anything on the planet that Wolf was playing in this game.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
The question is whether it's too little, too late, because he could have been a difference maker this map, and if you just give away one game because Wolf decides I don't want to play, then when he does want to play, he's not guaranteed to win every single time he plays.
Yeah. And if they put in Wolf, they might put in some, like, a worse whale, for example, Amara, just to balance it out, you know? Not put in all the good players at once.
Oh, that's fair. You have to consider that factor, that Amara has not played in either of these games.
Exactly.
So Amara is almost guaranteed to also play in this game.
Yes.
Please, no.
Well, that's interesting.
I actually can play.
Amara, sign us off.
So, this is Amara signing off.